Hello and welcome to the weekly Squeal. This week's episode is brought to you by Prince Justin Photography. Got a kid's birthday or a ballet recital? Prince Justin is there to take high-quality zoomed-in photographs of your tots. Choose from glossy or extra super glossy prints. For this week's episode, I'd like to review Milwaukee's own Hooligans Super Bar. Last week I went to Hooligans with my pal Andrew. As a foodie myself, I'd like to give a sincere appraisal of the experience. Firstly, when we were walking up to the place, I was almost run over by a fat guy on his bike. He was going really fast, and he was huffing and puffing and muttering something about pepperoni under his breath. Weird. Anyway, when we walked in, there were a few fat Milwaukeeans hunched over the bar drinking smelly beer from dirty glasses. The bartender was a young lady who looked like she'd seen better days. Famished from our long drive from Indianapolis, I had intentions on gorging myself to oblivion. I am a pig, but tonight I would be super extra piggish. I first ordered the clam chowder, and to be quite frank, it tasted like cum. It tasted exactly like cum. It's almost as if it wasn't clam chowder at all, and the cook literally just ejaculated in a bowl. He put chives into it, but you can't mask the smell of sweet and salty cum. Not a great first impression, but I was willing to consider it a fluke and move past it. I told the bartender it was cum and had her throw it in the trash. I asked her if she had any soup recommendations. She told me the creamy Reuben soup was a hit, so I told her to go easy on the cream and to give me a batch. Then some guy named Mark walked up to me and offered to blow me for a nickel. He said he was the owner, but he was clearly a homeless person. He had big man boobs and a beer-stained shirt. I declined his offer to let him blow me, and he scurried off. The Reuben soup came, and here's a picture of it. It was good until I took a bite of those brown chunks in there. That's poo. The same cook shit in my Reuben soup. This wasn't the first time I've been discriminated against for being a pig in a restaurant. Apparently it's a bad look, but bad service is bad service. Pig or no. The bread was also stale and soggy. It was weird. Strike one. I didn't want to give up because my boy Andrew was apparently having fun buying drinks for the regulars, and I didn't want to bum him out by leaving. Thought I'd switch gears, so I ordered the salad. Here's a picture. Luckily, no cum or shit this time, but I was not impressed. As you can see, it's just a bunch of chopped up vegetables in a bowl over expired lettuce. The cucumbers were thicker than John Snyder's penis. They almost made me gag. The lettuce was clearly a month old, and the mushrooms weren't even cleaned. I could literally taste the dirt. And I'm a pig. I eat dirt and shit, and this was worse than the slop I eat on the daily. Fuck Hooligans! I'm now pissed off, but I'm still hungry because I didn't eat the cum bowl, the shit soup, or the salad. This would be strike two. Andrew's now making friends with everyone at the bar, dropping huge tips for the chick bartender. I think he got her number. But I am still hungry, so I order the main course. One final chance. I went with the corned beef. I think they got the tip, because this time around at least the food looked semi-edible. But right as I was about to take my first bite, a fat man barged into the bar and came lumbering toward me. He asked me if I'd ordered the corned beef. I said yes, and he looked at me like a Saint Bernard eyeing a steak they were eating. I told the weirdo to go away. He looked like an adult Cabbage Patch Kid, and he wore a brewer's hat. But he wouldn't budge. He just stared at the corned beef, stared at me, then stared at the corned beef. So this was my experience so far. I'd gotten the clam chowder, and it was just cum. I'd gotten the Reuben soup, and it had chunks of literal shit in it. I'd gotten a garden salad that was just basically raw, expired vegetables. And now I have this obese, autistic man staring at my plate as if he was trying to telekinetically lift it up and into his mouth. I gave up, lost my appetite, and I told the fat retard to just have it. He said, "Really?" and quickly grabbed my plate and began scarfing it down. I think he finished it in under 10 seconds. I told Andrew it was time to go. He got the bartender's number and we bounced. A long drive back to Indianapolis was in order, and we had a lot of road to cover. I give Hooligan Super Bar a 1 star out of 10. I gave it the 1 because the owner offered to blow me, and that's just hospitality. The experience also reminded me to be thankful that I don't live in Milwaukee. It's a town of rejects, losers, and fat people. Just a terrible, terrible place to be. As we left the bar, the owner, Mark I think it was, actually came up to me again and asked if I enjoyed my dinner. I told him his bar sucked and his wife looked like Joe Camilla's girlfriend. Then I took a piss on his shoes and left with my nigga. If you ever have the misfortune of being in Milwaukee, do not go to Hooligans. Might I recommend McDonald's and a 6-pack of Bud Light. It's cheaper, healthier, and better for your spirit. Well, that about wraps up this week's show. Please like and subscribe and come back next week. Bye.